The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our December Casey Leadership Call. Um, this is Monica Nixon from NASPA. I use she, her, hers pronouns. And we also have Matt, do you want to?
Yes, hello everyone. Matt Clifford, National KC Director, and my other job is working at Wake Forest in campus life. Everybody's
Awesome.
doing well.
Awesome. Well, I know December is a really busy time. We have a number of items on the agenda that are good updates for us, responding to questions that have come up from the KCs. So we will jump right in. I want to make sure that what you should be seeing here is the agenda screen. So I'm hoping that's what's on there. This is my first time using GoToWebinar. I'm pretty excited, but that's what I'm showing. So if you have any issues at any point, I know one of the things that usually helps with GoToWebinar is if you can just minimize other windows. But also, if you have any questions, please put that into the chat or the questions box, and I will keep track of those as we're going through the meeting. So we'll jump right in. So Matt.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Monica, and again, welcome to everybody. Sorry, we're starting a few minutes late. I was just finishing up giving a final in the class that I'm teaching, so I needed to make sure that that was all attended to, which again speaks to the probably the time in the season that we are all in on our campuses, whether you're on a quarter system or whether you are wrapping up a semester or already wrapped up a semester, students in exams or still navigating classes. This is just the season that we're in. So again, appreciate everybody being present with us this afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about just briefly in our report, or in my report, is just return from the NASPA board meeting. And that's our winter board meeting. We had a chance to be together in Washington, D.C. with the other board members. And again, my role there is to really sit and be present in that space, and where necessary, really advocate for KCs and the KC program, which is certainly part of the privilege that I have, and that I'm excited to hold and to be in that space. A few things that I can sort of report out initially in terms of what we are working through. One of the things that I'm certainly happy to share with everyone, and just something that I am thinking about, and that we will likely want additional, not likely, we will definitely want additional feedback from KC leaders, KC chairs, and chairs-elect, and throughout the leadership teams, is really wanting to take a hard look at our board reports. I know that is a heavy lift for all of us. Asking you for your board reports at various points in the year. And again, we have those 3 board reports. The March board report, which is really the summative. This is the cumulative effect of all of our activities during the year. And then the summer board report will speak more to sort of planning and things that are in motion or getting ready for the year. The winter board report being sort of a middle way, really measuring where things are in their current state, and being able to give the board members an understanding of what's happening for the various KCs. So I'm interested in making sure that those board reports are effective for our board, that they're providing the right information, that they're digestible, and that for you as chairs, that those board reports are useful, and that they provide a good pathway for being able to understand where you are in your activities in your year. So that one thing that I am looking at right now or considering is really, again, what is the most effective way to report information, to both gather information from you as chairs, and then to report that information up to the other board members to create again, an accurate depiction of what the activities of the KC program at large are. So that is important for me, as something that we're thinking about. An additional thing that is coming along is now that all of our KCs have submitted strategic plans or individual strategic plans, what I'll be focusing on soon is really pulling those strategic plans into one, and thinking not necessarily just the compilation of all of the strategic plans, but how do the various strategic plans of our 37 KCs inform a larger strategic plan for the KC program as a whole? So that's something that I will be thinking about and focusing on, and engaging with you all as well as we create a plan for the KC program at large. Certainly a plan that aligns with the NASPA strategic plans that was put into place earlier this year. Other elements that I can update folks on, and again, we just met, so there are some things that we haven't seen the minutes quite yet, but other elements to update out on, and other sort of action items. There were a couple of action items that we presented on. And again, once I've got the final word on those pieces, I'll be able to report out to the group. This is a time when the board is considering and reviewing award proposals, nominations for those KCs that are moving through an election process in the spring, and award proposals. Again, as I mentioned, KCs that have put forward award and nominations for award recipients, those are reviewed by the board at this meeting. So a lot of, again, really important and specific action items. One thing that also happens at this board meeting is if that we consider at this meeting as well. Other parts of our meeting are again, certainly we look at the financial standing of the that are important as well to of the association and the strength of that, and also hearing about other areas in terms of our public policy, and other involvement that we have at the NASPA level, certainly with other programs and initiatives that are happening. So again, the biggest things that I would report out on from our winter meeting, again, regarding some of the things that I'm thinking about with the board reports and how those are formatted. I will say our board report, the KC board report, is about 120 pages. So it has some heft to it. And again, I want to make sure that it is useful for KC leaders and useful for the board. And certainly what I would like to consider is alternative modes of reporting that information. So, and I'll certainly seek your feedback on that. So that is about what I can report at this point. And again, we've just had our meeting, so there are certainly some parts in the meeting that I can't report out on. And so once I have a better sense of those particular elements, I'll provide additional updates. So I can just segue right into the next piece in terms of annual conference events, and then also the Connected Conference, which is a piece that a lot of our KCs have been asking for, so I'm really excited that Jace from the NASPA staff has been able to give us some information of that. So you'll see on the agenda the next set of information around the annual conference events. A lot of these things folks have seen before, but just reminders for many of you. We will have newly elected KC leader orientation on that Saturday of the conference. That's March 28th, and that will run from 8 to 3. All of the 2021 chair-elects and co-chairs-elect should attend. I have reached out to some of you in regards to helping and assisting with that, the planning for that event. And what we are looking at doing is sort of a flipped classroom model where we will provide some content in advance of the orientation, and then using our time together in Austin for discussion-based learning from each other, which I've always found to be quite helpful. Additionally, there will be an all KC leader meeting on Saturday. That's immediately, or not immediately, but shortly after the KC orientation. Excuse me. And that's for chairs, co-chairs, chairs-elect, co-chairs-elect, and the regional KC core coordinators should attend that meeting on Saturday afternoon. And then there is a regional KC core coordinator meeting on Monday from 9 to 10. That is only for the regional KC co-coordinators. We will do a regional rep training, and then we've got a call with our KC co-coordinators later on this week to discuss that training, and that'll be on Monday from 10 to noon. And that's open to really any of the regional reps from your KCs. Our communities fair, again, this is a new opportunity. Our communities fair is on Tuesday from 12:15 to 1:15. Again, all KCs should be represented. Today we'll have an opportunity to hear from KCs who have thought about that communities fair in different ways. Again, we've moved the NASPA awards reception to allow, and that in part has provided some opportunity for the communities fair. And then you'll see the information that we need in terms of name, institution, email, cell phone number from the contacts who will be representing your KC, or the primary folks who will be coordinating that, to Stephanie King when she returns in January. So those are just some elements to consider. Actually, seeing the information about the communities fair brings me back to something that we are the conference team is rethinking, as you all know, the awards opportunity, the awards celebration, an opportunity to really celebrate awards across NASPA. Again, previously that has been a opportunity for it's been a paid event and folks who will attend that. It's moving out of that kind of space now. So again, trying to think about ways that we can celebrate all the achievements across all of NASPA and KCs, and so I'm trying to be cognizant of how we can celebrate KCs in that moment as well. Certainly KCs can and should continue to honor award recipients in their own ways. Some of you doing that at the annual conference, at your meetings, and some of you certainly doing those awards at other conferences as is germane to your KC. So
Matt, this is Monica. So just interrupting really quickly, there have been a couple of questions actually about awards and whether award recipients were approved by the board. So just wanted to raise that question, and if that's something that you'll be able to update on later.
Yeah, I do want to. So I would prefer to wait until I hear back from again, we literally just met. So I'd prefer to wait until I hear back from everybody so we can give a green light to that. But I appreciate the question. So I hate to put a sort of pause on that, but the way that sort of moves from an operational perspective is, again, we meet, those are considered by our awards committee, and then voted on by the board. So, but I don't anticipate any significant roadblocks in that regard. That'll be my nod to that. So I just want to wait until a little bit until we get that sort of final approval and report out from the NASPA office, and then I'll be able to communicate that to folks. I hate to put us in a weird spot, but hopefully that answers those questions. Were there any others regarding awards?
No, nope, just about when we can notify. But we'll keep you posted on that, and maybe by the time we send the minutes, but certainly we'll send a notice to you all about notifying winners.
Yeah. So I just I know that awards can be a and that's not a tricky topic. It's an exciting opportunity to let people know about the ways that we're recognizing their accomplishments and the ways that they contribute to our KCs in the field. But at the same time, I think it's important for us to do that in a singular way. So I do want to be cognizant of how we notify folks.
And we noted, and I'm noting that there's some sensitivity to the early bird deadline happening in December, and so Matt and I will make sure that that's a part of the consideration about when you all can notify folks. But yeah.
Okay, that's fair. No, I appreciate that. I will, and again, if it's helpful, I can certainly prompt folks at the office to see if that's something we can go ahead and release. Great. So that provides sort of a summary information about the NASPA annual conference and the specific events for KC and KC leaders that you should be cognizant of, and you can see those there. Now, the next bullet there at the bottom of the first page of the agenda is around the Connected Conference. Again, the Connected Conference is hosted at, it really is a concurrent conference at San Jose State University in California. And we know that some of our colleagues, because of legislation in Texas and because of restrictions in California for state institutions, that state monies cannot be spent to provide travel opportunities for where there's legislation, as is the case for Texas. So we've sought to create this Connected Conference. I'm really excited about the opportunity for the Connected Conference, and many of the KCs have asked, what's happening? How can we engage? How can we encourage our membership who will be attending the conference to engage? So you'll see there a couple of the different opportunities, and I'll kind of just go through those. So one, again, we've just talked about the community fair that will take place in Austin. Now there will also be a community fair on Tuesday from 4 to 5:30, and that'll take place at the Connected Conference in San Jose State. It's scheduled and encouraged community involvement with Cesar Chavez Day, and KCs will be able to table and share information about their KC. There's a link there that you can, if you're interested in the community fair there, that you can sign up with that link. So that's one option for engagement. Another option for engagement is around socials and networking and sort of connecting with each other. So that piece is there, and all KCs are certainly welcome to schedule gatherings after the regularly scheduled presentations are concluded. There are certainly, as you can see there in the note, there are some costs that are associated with the San Jose State Union after 5 p.m. The San Jose State has graciously agreed to host, which is exciting. So but there are some costs if deciding to host in the Union after 5 p.m. And we can certainly include any information about KC socials in the mobile app for the Connected Conference. So those are just different ways that we'll be advertising those events. And then there's information also about meeting time. So there's meeting time that's reserved 10:15 to 11:15. Excuse me, on Monday, March 30th, and there will be opportunity for KCs to reserve spaces to hold meetings during that time block. Again, there will be some limitations to that due to space. We will not be able to stream meetings stream in meetings from Austin, but certainly if KCs wanted to hold sort of a mini business meeting or something to that effect, that's an option as well. KCs are going to need to, again, we have limited capacity in the space that we have, but we would love for KCs who are requesting that time to give us an approximate number of meeting attendees. So some advanced planning with your KC and anybody who is sort of a point person for events at the Connected Conference would be thoughtful. We are the range of sort of expected attendance, I would say, again, for the Connected Conference, up to 300, sort of in the 200 to 300 range, I think is what we would expect. Registration is certainly live and active. We do have people who have registered for the Connected Conference, and that's exciting. But that's kind of that's the scope, the general scope of what we are expecting for the Connected Conference is that general, again, we would hope for or expect around 300 people to be in attendance. So just be cognizant of that as you're planning socials and meetings and the like, is that's what we would generally expect. You'll see the link there is also included for requesting meeting space. And then we will be able to publish any specific information about where the KCs are meeting in the mobile app as well. So that's some general information about the Connected Conference as well as the annual conference. And again, the Connected Conference will be sort of streaming in or live streaming some of the sessions from Austin, as well as offering sessions on site as well. So those are two options, and really, again, applaud folks who have been leading the effort on the Connected Conference, being thoughtful about our members on the West Coast, and trying to create a comparable experience for them to engage with NASPA broadly, but certainly with the KC program as well.
And there was a question about whether there's a deadline for making those requests of the Connected Conference. I don't actually know that question. I think Matt and I just received this information from the Connected Conference planners this week, and so we will ask that question and include that with the minutes.
Got it. Good deal. So again, we're happy to we're glad to provide this information about the Connected Conference, but certainly know that there might be more information that you're asking for, and we're happy to provide updates on that. When we send out the notes to my hope would be when we send out the notes for this call that we'll be able to provide answers regarding deadlines for requesting meeting space, as well as approval of both chair and co-chair ballots and award recipients by the board. So we hopefully will be able to get some finality on that for everybody in the written notes for this meeting. Monica, I'll turn it over to you for update on collaboration grants.
Great. So if you'll recall, Lucy Fort joined us from the NASPA Foundation to share with us this new opportunity for 2 or more groups to come together to receive funding from the NASPA Foundation to provide collaborative opportunities. I think there's a range of things that the groups could provide. It could be going in together on a speaker, or a drive-in conference, those kinds of things. The awards are when Lucy talked with us in October or November, October, this was all still being developed, and so this is the first time we've had a chance to share with you the updates to that. The awards will be up to $2,000, and deadline for applying will be February 21st, 2020. But then you have until June 30th, 2021 to spend the dollars. So the awards will go into your budgets. There will be a group from the foundation that looks at the proposals, makes the award, so you'll receive the money by about April, and then but you have a little bit over a year to create the program. So I think there was some concern from this group and other groups about the initial timeline was a lot faster than that, and so the foundation agreed to, the foundation wants effective and collaborations rather than rushed collaborations, and so you will be able to have a little bit over a year to spend those dollars. I will send the link is here for the award, the application link. But I'll also include it with the minutes. But if you have questions about that, I would encourage you to send those to Lucy Fort, and I'll put her contact information in the notes as well. But that's a good opportunity. Many of the KCs already work effectively together. And so this could be a way to enhance some of that, but it could also be a way to seed some really interesting new ways for the KCs to be working together. That's all I have on that.
Cool, thank you. So the next item is around KC chair and co-chair elections. So I'm just sending a note to the NASPA folks around the ability to give you information about those approved ballots, and so that we can plan for that. But again, the ballots are expected to open the first week of January 2020. So once I have an okay about being able to release that information, I'll send it. I'll be able to pass it on to you. Any questions on any of those items thus far?
See any unanswered questions? Let me take a look real quick.
No, it doesn't look like it. I'm just looking at the chat box myself.
Okay.
Great. So in terms of KC, again, back in the order of sort of filling spots, KC regional rep appointments for March 2020. Just a reminder to be working with the regions on those appointments, as well as acknowledging, or just a reminder that the timeline there will be a small adjustment to the timeline for the next cycle, moving out of the busy springtime and more into the fall period. So just kind of a reminder. I don't know that there are any other updates on that particular item for KC regional rep appointments. Any questions from folks on that? All right. So with that, I will be glad to turn it over to Denny with update from a public policy perspective.
Actually, just a quick note,
Yeah.
Matt, sorry, Denny, before you jump in, there was a question that came up about the just communication with regional coordinators about receiving feedback, and maybe there are some strategies that we could suggest if KCs have reached out to regional coordinators but haven't heard back.
So just I don't know that I understand. Can you?
It's a question. It says, if we have reached, so if we have reached out to regional coordinators multiple times and haven't received any feedback on appointments, what are strategies that the KCs might be able to move forward?
So as I understand it, like again, the regional rep appointment sits with the KC. We ask that that information be coordinated with the regions, and that's why again, the regional co-coordinators exist for that purpose, or at least in part for that purpose. If you're not hearing back if you've got specific appointments to make, or you're trying to coordinate a process for appointments, that is, how will we review applicants? How will we conduct interviews? How will we, review those with whom we've conducted interviews? Again, if you're going to just review the process and you're not hearing back from the KC co-coordinator, that's important. I would suggest and ask that you notify the regional director and me jointly about that concern, so that again I can know that there's a process, there's something holding up a process, that you're trying to make an appointment. We're trying to, again, we want to make sure that we can engage well with the folks who want to volunteer with us, and if there are internal processes that are making that difficult, then we need to, I want to eliminate as many barriers for people being able to volunteer as possible. So if you're not hearing back from regional KC co-coordinators, again, those individuals sit within the regional leadership team. And so I do believe that the regional director needs to know, and I would appreciate knowing as well. So if you can just contact the two of us and let us know that you're working with or trying to work with a particular region on an appointment for a regional rep and having difficulty navigating through that process. So I appreciate Eric notifying about that issue. Again, what I will do is we've got a call in 2 days with our regional KC co-coordinators. So I will add that to our agenda for Thursday. Nobody's pointing any fingers right now on the phone, so I'll broadly and generally advertise that. And the expectation again is that KCs are making those appointments, but the region should be working together with the KCs to A, agree upon a process, and B, work through that process to jointly make the recommendation. So I will be sure to bring that up with the regional KC co-coordinators on Thursday when we meet. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, I think was that the only question regarding regional rep appointment?
That was, yes.
Okay, sure, no problem. So now we will shift and turn it over to Denny Bubrig, who's our Public Policy Division liaison, to talk to us about all of the fascinating updates in the world of policy that pertain to our KCs. Take it away, Denny.
Oh, I need to see. Maybe there's something I need to do.
Uh-oh. See, it's okay, folks. We're just learning with this together. And obviously you can see the information in front of you, but we'd love to hear from Denny so he can walk us through it. And
hey, there I am.
Denny, I've unmuted Denny. Sorry about that.
Okay, good deal. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and happy soon to be end of semester break to all. On the reports proper, we've kind of fallen into a pattern, especially with election season upon us and everything else going on, that we've got about 4 major topics that are still on the front burner and will be with us likely through for quite a while. That's financing of not only the student experience, but institutional financing and accountability and transparency. Free speech is going to be one that we're going to see fairly regularly through for at least the next 18 months. Immigration and DACA, and also Title IX related pieces. So what you have on the report today are just some of the highlights from around the country and the federal highlights in regard to those, trying to find some of the more distinctive perspectives, if you will, that are out and about as far as those go. But within the last week, and it actually came to pass while a number of us were actually in Washington for the Hill Days program, there was movement on the Futures Act, which has both an HBCU funding piece and a FAFSA piece attached to it. The way was cleared for that to advance further through the legislative process by mutual agreement on the Senate side of the House. So it's a very promising step. It's nowhere close to done. But this had been log jammed in part because of I don't know if stipulations is the right word, or expectations regarding updating and simplifying the FAFSA form. The funding for HBCUs went forward as a part of that to stabilize and make that more permanent in nature. It has to be reauthorized every couple of years. But also, based on the reports, it looks like 22 questions will be removed from the FAFSA if this is allowed to continue through to final passage. As some of you probably know, there's been the question period on the Title IX guidance from the Department of Education. A best educated ballpark that seemed to be starting to be circulated last week. As far as when we would see that, looks like in the mid to end of February, early March at the earliest. So if you have any questions or concerns about when the DOE Title IX guidance is going to come down, we're probably not going to see that until mid-spring at the earliest. Some of the conversation actually on the Hill last week as a part of Hill Days was that there was discussion surrounding a possible congressional review of those. So stay tuned on that. But ballpark, if you are following those and interested, start looking for those sometime during the month of February. I'll be glad to entertain any questions.
Thanks, Denny.
Everybody.
Any questions for Denny?
Thank you.
Cool. And again, I know Denny just gave a nod to the Hill Days program, but certainly an exciting program that took place just right at the beginning of December in DC, and opportunity for folks who are engaged with that to really just sort of see how public policy is shaped in the Capitol. So really exciting. And there's a small change to that. Again, that used to take place in the summertime and then shifted to winter. So, but a really exciting program for sure. I'm sorry, Denny, that you could not offer any crystal ball on some of those items, especially the Title IX stuff. I know many campuses are. I don't know that eagerly awaiting is the right terminology to use, but certainly conscious of its release and wanting to navigate that well. So great. So what we wanted to do now is what we've done over the past few meetings has been sort of a bit of a tradition for us, is to offer some KC Spotlight opportunity. We talked about the Communities Fair. Again, the Communities Fair this year will have a new, certainly a new day and time. No concurrent sessions wrapping up against that day and time on Tuesday afternoon at 12:15. But it is an opportunity to engage with NASPA members directly about your KC, for people to learn about your KC. They will still need to go online and modify their profile to make sure that they can affiliate with your KC that you're interested in. So, but it's a really exciting opportunity for folks to engage with you and with your leaders in a fairly open format. So we have folks from the Student Leadership Programs KC today to talk to us a little bit about how they've engaged people at the Communities Fair. Sean and Ivani.
Okay. Sean, I've unmuted you. Hold on, I'll be fine.
All right.
I'm searching for participants, yes. Ivani, I don't know that Ivani's... Oh, yeah, there you are. Okay, you are also unmuted. Apologies, folks. Okay.
Great, thank you.
You're good. Do you want to kick it off, Ivani, and then I can follow up since it's your area?
Sure. So we have taken a pretty active role within the Communities Fair and trying to find different ways to interact with folks who are kind of walking around the fair. And so our conference planning team has come up with like really creative ways that we can engage some of our folks as they walk through the fair. So one of the ways that we've done this is we've done some buttons that have different leadership topics on them. As our giveaway. We've also had like a wheel of trivia. We've also done like building blocks. So build your favorite or build something that represents leadership. We've also used like a dry erase board about like what your definition of leadership looks like. So, and then had people post on social media with our hashtag or different ways to kind of get folks engaged rather than just walk by and say, hey, this is what we do. And that has really been successful for us to have folks kind of engage in different ways with our leadership team in a creative and innovative way. Sean, you want to share more?
Yeah. I think a lot of it coming from, I think, as I said, a lot of our approach for the different table activities has been a lot of, how do we engage them to think at a different level and provide different resources for the participants who are kind of walking through the fair? Because I think a lot of times it's the idea of here's information about our KC or here's information about upcoming program and events. We don't get a lot of time to engage them in what they think leadership is or what their role could be with inside of our KC. So I think for us, the idea of that engagement allows us to have conversations with those students to provide some best practices or things for them to consider to take back to their campus, which has been a lot of what Avani and I's platform has kind of been. A lot is how do we continue to give them resources to take back, or even ideas that they can take back to their campus as a nice program that they can do. And I think that's kind of been a lot of our push for that. So.
Yeah, I think being able to even talk about it from like different perspectives. So one of the buttons was like, write your favorite leadership theory. And so, it's like, oh, like I hadn't thought about that, or and then it's engaged conversations about what leadership theories exist. Did I know about leadership theories? We may not have thought about leadership theories since we were in grad school. So how do we kind of make different conversations? And it sounds like silly, but folks liked being able to like talk with our team on a different level, or we could come up with like, what's your favorite leadership book, or different ways that we could, tie it back to something personal or fun for folks to kind of engage with our leadership team. And then it gave us an excuse for our leadership team to talk to someone, not that we were trying to sell something to them, but being able to kind of talk with them on a humanistic level, like, what are some of the things that is happening on your campus? What are ways that we can assist? Or is leadership something that you may not, leadership doesn't have to be just out of a leadership office. It can happen in so many different ways across campus. So here are some ways that you can engage leadership within your community. So those are the ways that we kind of try to reach out to our constituents to kind of share some of our ideas and share and think about leadership in a different way than they may have not thought about before.
Cool. Thank you. Anything else you guys want to say about the Communities Fair?
I would just encourage you all to kind of come up with a way that you can engage with different folks as they walk across and find ways to attract them to your table. So be it Legos, be it building blocks, be it, not just your flyer. I think if they see a flashy table, sometimes they're more willing to come up. So take a little bit of time, even if you have a little bit of a budget, to kind of decorate your table or come up with ways that you can engage different folks. That would be my suggestion, because we found that we got more foot traffic when our table looked pretty or had some other engaging things that didn't necessarily just be us giving them flyers about what our KC was doing at the conference. So kind of expanding and thinking outside of the box.
And I think it's easier to have those conversations too. I mean, I think tabling sometimes can be a pretty awkward and uncomfortable experience, but the idea of, okay, do I engage in conversations? What do I say? How do I get people at my table? And I think through doing an activity, you can actually have those conversations without actually realizing you having it. Then they're hooked and they want to know more. And it's easier to talk about the KC program as a whole, but specifically your KC, without trying to feel that you're shoving information at them and expecting them to commit to something versus them actually seeing what you're all about. So I think it also aids in a lot of that conversation piece too, just to how that happens, like Avani said. So.
Oh yeah, one thing that I will add to that, we had invited the technology KC and Jeremiah wasn't able to attend, but this is another example of a way to sort of attract people to your table and to at least, again, offer an opportunity to learn more about the KC. So in the past, the TKC has done headshots for individuals at the Communities Fair. So again, another exciting way to just at least bring people in and then open up a conversation about what the KC is all about. And I know many of you will use your funds on various giveaways and promotional items for use at the Communities Fair, which is a great way to do that. But just think about, again, ways that you can engage with individuals about your KC, what it's all about, ways to get involved with the KC versus just giving out things. Nothing wrong with a good promotional item, but at the same time, how does that, I'd encourage everybody to think about how to engage people at the communities fair to communicate what your KC is all about, what they can expect from being affiliated and involved with your KC throughout the year. What does the flow of communication look like? Things of that nature. And then, and certainly encouraging them, like I said, to update their profile so they can get all of the current information from and communication from the KC. So anything else, Sean and Arvani? Nope. All right, cool. Before I get to upcoming deadlines and other important updates, I did get a sort of easy update on some of the awards and ballot information that I took a pass on. So I am able to report out that for those KCs moving through election processes, your nominees were approved. So those will be, so that the nominees as a slate were approved by the board and the nominations committee. So those will be moving forward to the ballot, to a ballot in early January. Additionally, any folks who submitted awards and we received sort of the final bits of information for awards, those were also approved. So I want to let everybody know that as well. So again, especially as we come up to early bird deadline and people are arranging travel, I know that it is important for you to, and exciting to be able to celebrate people in person. And so if that entices folks to be able to attend, all the better. So just wanted to let folks know that. If you have questions about specific award or nominee information, please let me know. Again, I will say that we approve the information that was provided and submitted appropriately. And for the most part, we were working with KCs who, especially on award information, if we were expecting or requiring additional elements that weren't in hand. So those that we had and were complete, those were approved. So good update for folks. Thanks for bearing with me on that. The last item on the agenda is just upcoming deadlines and other important dates. So as we move through spring board of directors report, again, this will be just being mindful of that. We'll sort of generally, we'll have more information later on this, but I would generally target end of January for that. and that's a really summative report for actions. Deadline to submit special interest fund application with the foundation is also the end of January. And then I just talked about awards, and many KCs have had questions about awards and wanting to create awards. So there is a process for creating an award or renaming an already established award. And the deadline to submit a proposal for that is also the end of January. So if your KC would like to be able to celebrate the accomplishments of individuals or campuses or programs through the awards process, again, there is a way to move through that, and there's an approval process for that, and it begins with a proposal that is due at the end of January. So just to be mindful of that. Any questions on any other items before we close? All right, I do not see any coming in. So unless I'm missing something, Monica? Nope. All right. Well, again, thanks for spending the time with us today. I appreciate everyone's attention, and I hope that everybody has a good winter break and that you're able to get some rest and reflection and renewal. So, and that if you're finishing up the semester on your campuses, that you are doing so well. So again, thanks for your presence this afternoon or morning. And please, if you have individual questions, don't hesitate to follow up with Monica or me. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.